This is Half Serious, where we dig into the things that keep us going habits, hobbies, hell, even bad ideas, and the hard crap that nearly breaks us. Because life doesn't pull punches, and somewhere between the chaos and the craft, the dichotomy of life teaches us a lesson. We laugh, we curse, and we keep freaking going. So pour a drink or start your marathon, and let's get into it. Today we talk to Jaime. She is one of my most favorite humans, but also has had a shitty hand of childhood sexual abuse tossed her way. However, her story of recognizing it, reporting it, and becoming a healthier her makes me even more in awe of her. Sadly, there aren't many success stories that come from childhood sexual abuse, but she has risen far beyond success and has found happiness and strength, which even without those hardships, I think is something that we all strive for. Quick note at the end, we do end it kind of abruptly because something came up. But if any of you guys have any questions or need some help because somebody you know or you are in this situation, she'll be happy to help. Just reach out via this podcast and I will get you connected to her. All right, enjoy. Did you see that crap on Instagram I posted with that damn story of myself with the...
Okay, I saw it, but I haven't listened to it because I was not where I could listen to it. And sometimes I don't know if I can listen to stuff out loud or not. So I'm like, oh.
I was walking my dog early, like 4 a.m. because I'd go take her for a walk really early in the morning, and then I'd go work out before I get my kid up, and do the whole daily thing. Well, I am walking, and my phone gets an alert saying that my camera in my backyard has disconnected. And I'm like, shit. And I look, and there's this picture of this, like, burly dude out there.
No
Homeless
way.
dude. Yeah. Like a homeless dude out back. I'm like, shit. And luckily, I'm only like 20 yards
run?
away. Yeah. And I pick up Castle, my dog, and I'm freaking booking it, thinking, okay, where's my gun? How am I going to get in obviously, where am I getting in the house best? Like, how am I going to approach this problem? All this other stuff. So I come in. Luckily, he hasn't broken down the back door. Go out to the backyard, secure it. I'm like, okay, my camera's still there. What the hell? Okay, I don't see anybody out here. So I'm like, whew, all right. So I come back in, and I look at my camera, like, okay, well, what is the last recording that it took? Where'd this dude go? And my battery apparently was low, so it had no recordings for that day. It was me from the night before. It was me. That was the last recording that my camera took, was me. I'm like, God, that scary burly homeless dude's breaking in my house. It
That's
was
tough.
me. I was like, God, I gotta get my shit together.
What are you doing, like, in your backyard? Like, why didn't it alert you while you were there?
Because the battery apparently or the Wi-Fi had disconnected, so it sent me the last image it took, which was me outside, because I just got done mowing, like, late last night, like, the night prior, and so I look like shit.
I'm so proud of you.
Scared of myself. It's horrible. I
So
felt so
funny.
scared
Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
humbled at the same time. So now
You were
I,
like, Mama's coming, Tully. I'm gonna take care of somebody.
I'm like, God, fuck this person. Oh, it's
Well,
me.
like, they talk about, like, I don't know about you, but, I mean, you could relate to this, but I think about, like, the cops, like, when they're going to these horrible situations, they get this call, like, let's just say somebody's running around with a knife and blood all over them, and you're just thinking,
Yeah.
"Oh, crap, this is bad," and they're going code. Like, I can't imagine, like, I feel like I'd have to be like, "Okay, Jamie, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Okay, crap, what are we going into?" I can see me, like, on the camera or the video or whatever, talking to myself and, "Okay, we gotta be brave," or something, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
give
you
myself a
got
little
it.
pep talk or something. I mean, I don't know, I just admire you guys.
Well, I'm retired now, so you're not admiring me for shit.
Oh, I still admire you. You're a
Too many-
single mom, you're in another battle.
Well, yeah, with myself in the backyard, trying to sit intimate with our purple glitter drinks.
I know, I'm so excited. It's so good.
Might be too good. Might be one of those podcasts that I have to, like, cut short and be like, "Hey, we got too drunk after this one." I had to cut it.
It's very possible.
We are gonna shit glitter tonight. I'm just saying.
I've never drank edible glitter before, so or eaten it that I know of.
So have you eaten regular glitter then? Because you just said edible.
Definitely not. Do you know those things hurt when they get, like, in a certain, like
Okay,
your
I thought you were
elbow
talking
or
about
something?
eating.
No!
Yeah, of course they hurt.
Who makes glitter? That's a nightmare.
Yeah, but you get that super fine glitter, you never get it off, but it
I was
doesn't hurt.
I was gonna say that stuff never goes away,
Yeah.
but I have 2 boys, so I don't have to worry about
Oh my god, how funny would it be if you put that super duper fine glitter in some of their clothes and then it just, like, they would never get it off.
Oh,
It would be
I should
torture for
totally do
them.
that. That would be the next prank I do on them.
Oh, yeah, if you're just
I
looking to
have
torture
some
them,
scheming coming up.
mhm,
It's me.
we're getting to that age. He's probably listening to us right now, though. He's like, "What are they scheming?" So, even though the podcast is called half serious because it's about humor and hardships, I really don't approach humor very much because it's intertwined in the stories. I feel you kinda get the undertones of humor just with the banter going back and forth and then the story of the hardship. So I haven't really approached that topic like, I was gonna say hard on, head on.
This is gonna be some very interesting editing.
I've only had, like, 4 sips. This is just sober me. Um, so what, role does humor have in everyday life, being from the background and the experiences that you have and trauma, all that other good stuff? You're
I'm really
hilarious.
good at laughing at other people being funny.
Maybe that's what it is.
Um, Salas is so freaking funny. Like, if
Mhm.
anybody kinda can get around him where he can relax, you've
Yeah.
been around him many times where he can relax, doesn't feel like he's having to he loves people that are not police, that's not it the issue, but he feels a little more relaxed around other police officers because I think he doesn't worry about them asking him questions, even
Yeah.
though they find his job fascinating. I find the job fascinating, so I don't really see the problem, but, I get it too. Like, he
Yeah.
just but he is super funny. I've been
Too.
through a
I
lot
know how
too.
much you love to talk about Salas
He's
and other
my security
people
blanket. I
and
can talk about him.
talk about him all day.
Uh,
But so, tell me about you and your background.
so my background is, it was during a time where sexual abuse children were probably shoot, it was during a time where we thought sex offenders would not offend again. Let's just say
Mm,
that. So it's before Megan's Law. This is before, gosh, like we just had no idea
yeah.
what we were stepping in. In fact, so much so, so I was a victim. I hate using the word victim because I honestly think I definitely don't want to go back through all that.
Why don't you wanna use the word victim?
Well, not that I just don't want to take away from the fact that I came back stronger.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like and that's a really good question. I was a victim. I was completely naive and had no idea what was happening to me. Like, it had been going on so long, I didn't even realize. I knew it was wrong, it didn't feel good, and then, of course, this is me thinking back to that age, but, I mean, I've evaluated this for so long um, that it took a counselor showing a video at school when I was in the 5th grade. I think I was in 5th grade. Might have been 6th grade, and
Yeah.
she shows this video of a dad or a man abusing a child and, like, the symptoms, I guess you could say, or what happens, and I just was, like, bug-eyed, and I remember leaving there going it's like I saw it, and
Mhm.
I'm like, "That's what's happening to me."
So you had no idea, I mean, not really before you watched, like, how what to put a name to it, right?
Yeah, like, your gut knew it didn't I didn't be, "Oh, yes, let's come,"
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
stuff to me,
Yeah.
It wasn't like that, it was an expectation, but it was like I had no idea. I thought it's almost like I thought that's the way things are supposed to be, and they believe I had been being groomed probably since I was a baby, very, very young.
So it was just your pattern of life.
It was our pattern of life. It was something that I was just literally it was literally like a light bulb went off. And I remember thinking, "Okay, I gotta keep it together." And I don't remember even being upset. But on the bus ride home, I think it just really hits me like, "Crap, this ain't right. No wonder it don't feel right," you know?
Yeah.
And my mom, I'm so grateful to her. She believed me flat out. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. She might have been like, "What the heck?" I
Yeah.
mean, I look back and she was, let's see, I was 12, 11, 12, something like that when I told her about it. So she would have been 31 years old. And me dropping this, of course, when I was like 31, it kind of dawned on me, I can't imagine being dropped that sort of thing on you.
Mm-mm.
But she, anyways, thankfully she came home first. I had been crying like off and on all afternoon. And it wasn't even like
Was it the same day you'd been crying?
same day. I made it to the bus, got on the bus, went home, was, like, home by myself. I feel like that wasn't even normal either. So I'm not really sure like how things played out. But anyways, I told my mom, I said, I watched this video about this person being abused. And I said, that's happening to me. And she believed me.
That's how you worded it, pretty much?
I really don't remember exactly. But I told her, I'm like, I'm being
Yeah.
abused.
That
And
takes guts, especially for a 5th grader.
I was scared of my, and I have to admit, I did not realize how it would impact those words,
Yeah.
how much it changed our lives for the better
Yeah.
in the long run. But in the beginning, it was very scary. It was very uncertain. Our lives had been turned over based off what I said. And my sperm donor, I don't have hate for him anymore. I can't say I haven't always not hated him, but I don't have that vengefulness that I used to have. And it's mostly when I was a teenager and young adult. And anyways, we'll get into that later. But he happens to come home and my mom confronts him and he admits to it
That same night?
that same night.
Holy shit.
Yes. So
So it spent
even
24
though,
hours.
even though I, of course, I don't want to have anything to do with him.
Yeah.
I am grateful that he owned up to what he was doing because that doesn't happen. And also too, I want to say too that since this, I've met with lots of families, lots of kids, lots of just experiences where I've intertwined in some ways with families that are dealing with similar situations. And a lot of times children are not believed by their parents.
Yeah.
And they do not remove them. They do not get them out of the danger. They just don't believe them. They
Mhm.
believe, I don't know what they believe. They justify it away. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
really know the answer. It blows my mind. But if my mom had not been so strong, I would have probably fallen into that category of like a victim, someone that just continued the pattern. And that's where I feel like where I'm torn with that word victim. I know I was a victim.
Yeah.
I get that. But I also don't want to repeat the pattern. And I feel like then the word victim changes because you can use that in any aspect and you're really not a victim. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but just because you're a victim then, I mean, you were in 5th, well, you were younger than that, but, when you actually
Yeah, it's
realized
like
that you're
11,
5th
12 years
grade,
old.
so you were definitely a victim, and I think people put a negative connotation to that, but it really is just a legal term, right? You had
It
nothing to
really
do with
is.
what was happening to you.
Yeah.
But were you a victim? No, you were a fucking hero, you stood up to shit and you
Yeah.
took it head on. So, I mean, that, especially being in 5th grade, to go home and then
I'm
to say that, like,
I'm grateful to the counselor. I actually remember her name still. For years, I was like, I'm gonna write her a letter and tell her how she just showing that video changed my
yeah,
life. And her name was Miss Crichton, Lori Crichton. But I don't remember. I feel like she got married. I don't know. I mean, gosh, that was 30 something years ago now. But those effects, like my mom being so strong, I know you're telling the truth. I believe you.
you think that she had some kind of feeling about it beforehand and she just couldn't justify it?
She said that, I mean, looking back, she's like, okay, maybe those were red flags, but she
Mhm.
never thought that.
Yeah.
It never occurred to her, but she did feel like they were headed towards divorce. So when I tell her this, I think that she just knew he's not the person she needed to be. I mean,
Yeah.
she said that there was other things that had nothing to do with us that she felt in the end that was probably going to be what happens. And she regrets not divorcing him sooner. But I am thankful that she didn't divorce him sooner because honestly, then we would have been stuck with him
Yeah.
on our, whereas he would hide things. Wasn't a constant availability to me. It wasn't a constant. Years later, we did find out he was grooming my baby sister too. She
How much
fine
younger is she than you?
a lot, 8 years younger than me. So she
So you
was
saved
3
her.
when I said something, 3 or 4 or something like that when I said something. When I said
Wow.
something, and her path comparative to mine, and this is another thing, this is for somebody that maybe finds themselves in this situation, assume that they have victimized all of the siblings. And I'll tell you one reason why. And this is the only this is why I don't want to release my full name, I
Mhm.
guess. But my sister we didn't think he had done stuff to her. We thought it was just me. I had no idea. But her path way back and forth, I had counseling because we knew something happened to me and it was not so erratic. I mean, I did some stuff,
Yeah.
I was not healthy at times. She was much more. And of course, my brother witnessed stuff, and he just, I mean, gosh, he was 8, 7, 8 years old. I mean, he didn't know what he saw, and it
Yeah.
wasn't a lot, but it wasn't until many years later that we, you know, realized the extent of the abuse, really, and how much it trickled down to my siblings.
How old do you think that you were when you realized when you guys fully talked about the situation and kinda aired it all out and got together and or did you guys ever actually sit and talk
So
it through?
again, this is before, honestly, it was their prime environment, and an abuser's prime environment for the family to feel embarrassed or not want
Mm,
to talk about it. We talked about it. I think my mom had individual conversations with my siblings, but it was like one time, it
mhm.
wasn't like a constant communication. I think my mom would feel like she might change that next time, because there were periods of time where my brother, met with him later, and I mean, he always believed me. All my siblings believed me. So I'm grateful for that because I was telling the truth. But I think they also, and even me as a victim, had a desire to know him, even though he was hurtful to me. And that's like, it's kind of tricky. It's like you want to believe
Yeah.
that you had that dad that was such a good person and not that didn't violate you. It's hard to just put your mind around it because it's not fair. It's like if he'd just been the dad that did stuff with us, like fun stuff,
Yeah.
or was a dad and that was present and didn't victimize or violate me, us as my sister, then we would have been fine. It would have been great.
Was he good? Like, do you only remember good attributes of him other than that?
He's very charismatic, and it gets really
He gets away with
uncomfortable.
that, yeah, I
So the
guess.
old Jamie, and I'll have to tell you where a pivotal point was, but the old Jamie did not correct people when they came. Oh, I saw your dad. He sold me a car at such and such place. I know him. He's such a good person. And I would keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
It took a lot, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to go down this. I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. But at that point, though, most of the time I was pretty comfortable, not comfortable, but like pretty somewhat laxed. I could talk about it without being upset. There's
Mhm.
periods of time where like your body just doesn't know. It reacts. Your mind knows you're safe. Your mind knows you're safe, but your
Mhm.
body is just like reacting. Anyways, but yeah, that'd be really uncomfortable, especially when they
Yeah.
call me up and like, "Hey, your dad just showed me pictures of you." And how did first off, he's not my dad.
Yeah.
Not my dad. He's the sperm donor. But how does he have pictures of me? So when I don't know how long afterwards, but he didn't pay child support. And just so you know, if you're not the victim child of their abuse, the court still allowed them to have visitation. They have rights to your other siblings. So my brother,
Wow, I did not know
especially,
that.
oh yeah. And it hasn't changed a whole lot either. So my brother, he would insist on seeing my brother, which he didn't pay him no mind before because even my grandmother and my mom were like, he was always focused on you, Jamie. Always. Always wanted to be with you.
Mm.
And I'm like thinking if it was normal, it'd be great. I would love to spend
Yeah.
time with my dad, but it
Yeah.
definitely wasn't normal. And I can think of a lot of situations where I've really wished that he did not spend time with me. But I do have a blank line, like I can't remember past certain parts. It's kind of weird. But anyways, I think it's just coping. I
Yeah.
hope. I don't know.
I'm
Um,
sure. We even talk about that in a couple of the other podcasts, like, "Hey, we black out." Like, it's you
yeah,
just can't
it's
remember
I
parts.
I mean, I've done counseling for so long and different types of therapy, and I mean, and part of me really doesn't want to open up that Pandora's box. There is no telling what I will remember.
Do you think it's healthy at some point? Because I don't know, like, at some point, if you've actually closed it up and you're moved on with your life in other ways and you've coped with it in a good way, should we open that? Like,
I
I don't
don't think
know.
so. I'm almost thinking no, because I feel like I'm to that point now where I mean, the abuse, even now at 45 years old, it affects me. It affects me in ways that are really hard to describe. Not really sexual ways. It's actually differently. I am
Subtle
vigilant. No,
or
I'm highly vigilant about
mm,
my kids going around anybody. And then, people are like, "Well, you can trust your family." No, you
no, you
can't
can't.
trust your
Yeah.
family. You cannot trust your family. There's a constant barrier to some degree especially when you come to your kids and the
Mhm.
vulnerability of them, that you cannot be laxed about. And a normal person really shouldn't be lax, in my opinion, to a degree, because you really can't trust. Oh my gosh. He was like the nicest person. He was a little arrogant. Okay. Most guys are, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but he was charismatic. He was friendly. You could talk to him. And to me, that was harder to deal with because when my kids started school, for a while there, I put his little sex offender thing up in the office because I didn't trust that his charisma could not get past that school front
Yeah, that's a good
office.
point. Yeah.
Because
People are
everybody
blind to it.
wants to know that, oh, that's a really nice person. They have, it's like there's a little bit of a trust
Mhm.
just because you're nice.
Well, I mean, it's a Ted Bundy thing, right? That's how he was
Well,
able to
I didn't even think about that, but
yeah,
yeah, you're right.
able to kill so many women and just be like, "Oh, yeah, well, I'm charming."
Yeah, I mean, and you look a certain way, he's
Mhm.
handsome, you know? I think my brother looks more handsome because he comes after my grandfather, but that's just my opinion, and trust me, the girls like him.
He's cute, not
He
gonna lie,
is
he's cute.
cute. But yeah, he just I don't know. I mean, that's what's kinda scary too. You just don't realize, like, you can't trust some people. And
No.
it's so prevalent now. Oh my gosh, child abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, I mean, sexual abuse in its own self used to be like a taboo. Like they're like, "Oh, this didn't really happen very often." So when I first came and said, what happened, and thankfully he did confess and
Why do
he
you think
pled
he
guilty.
confessed? Because that's unusual, that is highly unusual.
I have no idea, but I'm grateful for it
Yeah.
because there's more black and white cases that for whatever reason people believe these. And
Yeah.
and they're dangerous. Maybe he realized he was doing wrong. He knew he was doing wrong. Maybe that
Yeah.
was him. He never served a day in jail.
Really?
No.
What?
No, he never went to jail. If he did, it was
Oh,
like maybe a day or 2, I don't know, but he never went to jail.
and this went on for how many years and he didn't serve any time?
I don't know how many years, but they believe from my trauma and in my sessions that they believe he had groomed me so early that I had no idea how inappropriate it was and how violating it was. The light bulb, it was like, I mean, I just remember going, "That is me on that screen,"
Yeah.
literally, and not even realizing it. But that's what it took. It took me I mean,
The old VHS tape.
yeah,
Yeah.
they rolled a little TV in,
Yeah.
changed my life,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I'm not somebody that, I mean, I'm observant, but I'm not really observant. I'm like I said, I can get a little squirrely,
No, I think you're very observant unless
but
you've drank.
that black and white in your face, it was like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do about this? And for whatever reason, I went to my mom, and I mean, we had a okay relationship. I'm the number 1 out of 3, so she
Mhm.
was not, like, I mean, I feel like we were kinda close, but not really,
Yeah.
but I trusted her, and I went to her, so I'm grateful for that,
I
and
can't
she
believe
held her
you
side of the bargain.
I can't believe you watched it that day in school and you went home that night and told your mom and then she, I guess, approached your dad then or
Yeah, he came in at 7 o'clock,
damn,
and
that's a
how my
quick turn.
brothers and sister were not there, I have no idea. I don't even know where they were at. I can't even remember. And, it was somewhere around October when it happened, and the only reason I remember that is because there's a picture of me and my brother and my sister. I'm in a pumpkin garbage bag as a pumpkin because back in the '80s and
You make your
'90s, you
own.
made your own costume. There was no going to Costco.
Yep, yep.
And I can't remember what my brother was, something dark colored, and then my sister was a cat. Why I can't remember my brother's costume, I don't know. Maybe he's like a Ewok. He was, like, obsessed with Ewoks for a while. And so, there's a picture of us standing there, and that was right after. Like, I just
Oh,
remember.
wow.
So, for a long time, up until about I don't even know what year this was, but, up until we'll just say it's been 5 years. I really don't remember. I can't even remember what year it was. Every October, like, my body would remember it's like it instantly was anxious. October was a very anxious month for me, and I could never ever for a long, long time, I didn't understand it. Finally, one day I was in counseling. Every October, I don't know why I always think of October, but every October, I am so anxious. I have no idea. Like, my anxiety is just heightened. I'm emotional. And she's like, well, why do you think that is? I'm like, I truly don't understand. I really don't understand. It was so strong that I could not put my finger on it,
Mm.
but I could tell it was every October. And then so Karen Confer, Conifer, apparently her husband's like a famous schizophrenic person, which I thought was so
Hmm.
cool, like schizophrenic
Yeah.
counselor or something. Anyways, I have this like little bit of
But he's a
interest.
schizophrenic person or a schizophrenic
Oh, sorry.
counselor?
He was a doctor of
Okay.
schizophrenia.
Famous schizophrenic.
What's really funny is like I'm in my abnormal psychology class in
Uh-huh.
college, and I'm like, I know him. And so I had to go and tell her, I'm like, that's her husband's in the textbooks. Anyway, she was my counselor pretty much from day one. I'm so grateful for her. But she said, I don't know if you know this, but you actually told your mom about everything in October. And I said, I did?
Oh,
And she said, yeah, in
oh.
October of like 92. I think, I don't know why I can't remember for sure, but it was either 91 or 92. I was 11 or 12 years old. I'm thinking 92. But I was like, really? And so at least it put a label. So I had like
Yeah.
I was prepared now. Okay, October's a rough month for
Mhm.
me, even
Af
though
After you came to that conclusion, was it still a rough month, or did putting a label on it make you kinda ease it up a little bit?
well, I had a sweet friend that knew my history, and
Mhm.
every October she would do something nice for me.
Aw.
And to try and distract me, because
Yeah.
distraction works really good for me. Okay. Like I'm talking to you about this and I can kind of I mean, it's nerve wracking to me. Like
Yeah.
this is not a comfortable conversation by any means.
Well, I
Although
feel bad now. I feel bad now.
no,
Have
no,
to talk about it, you know?
I want to help people.
Yeah,
And honestly, and I mean, at some point we'll get to this. I've tried not to be too long-winded, but
mm,
one day, I can't tell you what day because apparently I can't remember nothing. The state of Alabama calls me and she's like, "Hey, just so you know, your sperm donor is filing for a pardon."
see, this I thought he was in jail when you said
No,
this. It was for, like, parole or whatever. I
no,
didn't know it was like,
he's not. He didn't go to jail one day, from what I
that's
understand.
insane.
Not one day. Now he got put on the sex offender registry. Thank goodness for that. But although I don't know that matters sometimes. But anyways, I mean,
Yeah.
like it's a whole story. Um, but he was wanting to be pardoned, and I'm like, oh hell no! Like I got really defensive. I was scared out of my
Mhm.
mind. Like I didn't know what this meant. And she said, "Well, I suggest you." I said, "Are you kidding me? They can get pardoned for
Yeah.
this?" And she's like, "Yeah, they can apply to be pardoned." And I said, "Well, that's not fair." And I probably shared too much. Sometimes I do that. I shared too much in the moment, but I was like, I still live with this every day for the most part. I said, only through a ton of counseling do I feel I can be somewhat, I feel like, well, normal's underrated. Normal's not a good word.
No, I
A
love you because 'cause
healthy
you're
Jamie.
abnormal.
Yeah, a healthy Jamie,
Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, and so she's like, "Well, I would suggest you come and speak your
Ooh.
part." And I
Like,
was like,
face
"Oh,
him?
crap." Yes, basically.
When's the last
Face
time
him.
you saw him before then?
Well, I've run into him a few times.
What?
Oh, that's another story. So you wanna hear that story? That's a really cool
Yeah,
story
I
too.
wanna hear it, yeah.
By the way, I don't know Super Dave other than Super Dave from the city.
Yep, yep.
So, he would, through my brother or my sister, try to reach out to me
Uh-huh.
periodically. Like one time I don't know that he intentionally followed me, but he might have. I don't know. He, of course, moved to my side of town. Just so you know, he doesn't live too far from me.
What?
Yeah. I would say
On purpose, or that's just
on purpose. He knows
oh
where I live.
my god. Yeah. Mm,
I've lived in the same area for 22 years.
yeah.
I live in the same area. He moved to my area. He lived in South Huntsville for the longest time. He moved to Northeast Huntsville in the county, and we share the same grocery stores and stuff. How I have not run into him as much as I
Mhm,
thought I might is beyond me. But
mm.
this is why I love my counselor, because she's like, if you run into him, what are you going to do? I have no idea. She's like, what's your favorite food? I said, I guess vegetables. So she's like,
You
go to
weirdo.
I am weird. So she said, "Okay, if you ever see him, you turn around and go to the produce department." Okay, I got a game plan. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
really
I was
she's
gonna say call
phenomenal.
me, but yeah, I think it's probably a better idea, but
There's been a few times I've run into him. One of them, like, pretty recently, actually. And that's
mm,
why I can say there's, like, a line from where my body would react after the fact, after I ran into him, after I had to deal with him. Of course, I tried not to let him ever see it. He would call me on my birthday from a block number,
Yeah.
or it'd be his number and I wouldn't know it's his number. So then I started saving every number so I'd at least be prepared and ignore it, But I was caught off guard most of the time. And he's like, I just want to tell you happy birthday. It's innocent stuff it's innocent in what he's doing. But for a trauma person, somebody that had experienced trauma, it's something again like where your body has an emotional reaction. It's strong. It causes, in my opinion, for me, it was a mild depression for a few days. It put me on edge. It made me think, who's watching me? It made me a little paranoid. I became very vigilant.
Rightfully so.
But in my mind, I'm saying, why are you acting this way? You would kick them in the nuts. You'd punch them. You'd do whatever you needed to do.
Because you're a kid
You
in your head.
can protect yourself. I'm an adult at this point,
Yeah, but I would imagine, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a counselor, but apparently I suck at that stuff, but just I would think you're living as a kid because that's when it happened, so I would think your reaction is what it would be if you were a kid, you
Maybe.
know?
I could never wrap my head around it. It'd be the slightest thing. One time he followed me to church.
What?
So like I said, I don't know if he was following me or if he
Yeah,
happened to see me, but he waving at me from
yeah,
his Mustang, you
yeah,
know? And I'm just, and even though it was pointless, I didn't even wave back. It still causes that reaction. Fast forward when he requested this pardon. I mean, you're talking about some courage. It took a lot of courage for me to do this. I mean, I've told my story to people one-on-one. Although before this, I would tend to get emotional talking about it. I would tend to have a harder time talking about it. I would tend to relive it. I'd have
mhm.
flashbacks at this point.
Saying, "Jamie, I've known you for, 18, 19, I don't know how many years." I
Mhm.
never knew. I never
Yeah.
knew until you mentioned it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, I kinda knew something, but I didn't really know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an open book. Like I will happily talk to anybody about
Mhm.
it. I will happily give them what I would and wouldn't do in the future. My mom has even shared some things that she would and would not do. I'm happy to talk to anybody about it. I'm happy to be an advocate. But like unless somebody comes to me, but a lot of people have come to me not knowing and sharing their story with me. And I've been able to say, "Hey, believe it or not, I know what you're going through. And you are strong. You can do this. Get in counseling, get in counseling, get in counseling." Like,
Mhm.
that's been the hugest. I mean, for me, I believe in God and I believe He put those people in me. I prayed to Him. I've got to get out of this. 'Cause there's some low parts, really low parts when I was in high school. He is not going to control me. He's just not. He got those moments. He got
Mm.
those moments. I
Yeah.
will give him that.
Going back to the pardon, though, how'd that unfold?
Okay, so yeah, before that, so he was trying I mean, oh, I forgot to tell you, we gotta talk about Super Day.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
before the pardon,
Okay.
okay?
Alright.
Alright, so one day, I can't remember what he had done, but he had done something that had
Super
triggered
Day?
me, connected no,
Oh,
sperm donor.
oh,
Sperm donor guy did something to contact me. It was a letter or I mean, I think my brother and sister-in-law refused to give him letters and stuff at some point, but, whatever it was.
mhm.
I can't even remember what it was. And my mom, so I don't know if y'all know this, but on the Alabama Sex Offender Registry, you can click a button that says, what if this person's or like you can put a comment or something. And my mom goes, what do you do when they keep contacting the victim? And
Yeah.
she said, within a minute, Super Dave called her and was like, what do you mean? And you got to think, this is before Megan's Law. So I did not know I had more rights. Megan's Law implemented that the offender cannot in any way, any form, any shape or whatever contact, be around me or anything,
Mm.
or it's a felony and they go back to jail.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know why I can be such a softie. I felt I didn't feel bad for him because it really pissed me off, but
Yeah.
anyways, I was very happy. Super Days called me up next. And of course, I was in real estate this time. I was like, really? I had no idea. Like, I mean, this is all
Mhm.
new to me. He's like, oh, I'll take him to jail right now. Oh, so tempting. So tempting. Does he know about this? He does know about this. he needs to go to jail. And
You didn't send him, did
I
you?
didn't send him to jail.
Oh, man.
I couldn't decide. By this time, we're talking, I'm an adult now. It's been a long time. I was
Still
relieved that I actually could control the
yeah.
situation because before I couldn't control it. I wouldn't know he's calling me. I wouldn't
Yeah.
know that I'd get X sent to my office and it would spiral me.
Mhm.
Like it was spontaneous and it would just spiral me. And then it made me mad because I'm telling myself, "You're fine, you're safe," but like I said, your body just does not know this. Your
Mhm.
body just does not know. It's like no matter how much you're like, "Jamie, you're being ridiculous." And so, anyways, I told Super Dave, as much as I'd like to send him to jail, I don't feel like I should for what he's done. Okay. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm
Mhm.
going to pretend, even though I know in my heart he probably already knew this, it doesn't matter because he does whatever he wants anyways.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend he did not know this information fully to the extent. And I want you to read him his rights. I want you to make sure he understands at this point he's given a grace and I'm not going to do it again. And so he did. And of course, he denied, "Who's Jamie?"
Mhm.
He denied any of it.
What?
Yeah.
He acted like he didn't know who you were?
That's what I remember. I don't know
Oh.
if it was exactly like that, but that's what I kinda remember, like, "No, I never talked to her." He denied all of it,
Yeah.
and he hadn't changed. So anyways, so then he has left me alone since then.
Good.
So I'm grateful for that. But so the pardon comes around,
Yeah.
and I mean, you're talking about a triggering moment. I've probably not cried so hard as I did that day.
How long ago was that from today?
That's what I can't remember. My mom might be able to tell me. Gage is born. So we go to the pardoning. They set the date and everything. They tell me when to be there. And before you go down there, they want you to write a statement of what you want, a victim statement, I guess. And so I wrote a statement, and I have rarely put details and stuff like even South really doesn't know details. My mom might know some details.
Why? You just don't wanna tell him? Or you feel it'd be traumatizing to him?
I think it's more like I don't want to contaminate my own marriage stuff.
Yeah.
I just have not told many people details. I had to tell people in the beginning, of course, like the investigators. Oh,
Yeah.
and shout out to the NCAC. I was one of the first kids that went through the NCAC.
You're like, "I don't wanna see highly recommend."
Yeah, definitely don't highly recommend nothing with this. But
Yeah,
I
very
was
good, yeah.
literally one of the first kids that went through
Really?
the NCAC. In fact, all I remember is this building downtown. It was dark
Uh-huh.
and dreary, to be honest with you. And Karen Confer was the counselor that was assigned to me. And we would go to like
That's
group counseling and which I don't know. I didn't really get much from that. I don't think my mom got much from that either. But anyways, we're kind of tend to be more independent type people
yeah.
anyways. Yeah, I was one of the first to go into the NCAC and I had one
Oh,
interview.
National Child Advocacy
Yes,
Center.
National
That's who it is.
Children's Advocacy Center. I think that that was a brilliant idea. I agree that the more times you, especially younger kids, constantly interviewed, constantly
Yeah.
ask these details, and then even me, I'm like 12 and scared to say certain things.
Yeah.
I know what happened to me. I know this was wrong. I know he did wrong. And still, yet, for me to have this mindset, and I do remember it this vividly, that it was still very scary, because you don't want to send your dad to jail. You don't want to send him
Yeah.
to jail, no matter how much of a loser he is.
Goes against the grain of society,
You
it's hard.
want, you just still care. And I think that's one of the reasons why I know that's one of the reasons why he didn't go to jail was because we're like, oh, we think he learned his lesson. We literally those
Mm.
words came out of our mouths. Again, this is pre Megan's Law. This is pre the national awareness of offenders reoffending and at a very high percentage rate. Very, very high percentage. Like they're talking like 90% high percentage rate of
Damn.
reoffending. May not be that same child.
Yeah.
It will be
A
somebody
child.
else, and it's all opportunity. It's what they have access to. They're super kind, friendly people,
Mhm.
and they're going to be people you know. They're going to be people you trust. That's the high percentage. That is who victimizes children. Isn't that scary?
That is sc and The people that I know that have been victimized, it is from family,
Yeah.
either in the nuclear or just right outside of it, and it's sad.
I mean, my biological father did
Mhm.
it to me. Now, I do believe there's a higher risk when you bring an outside person and you
Yeah.
have a blended family 'cause you just don't know. You just
Mhm.
don't know. I feel for anybody that is dating or like,
Yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
hard thing being a single
I
mom and
know,
dating, it's always,
they
"Oh,
are master manipulators.
yeah,
They know what they can and can't do, and they will take advantage, and you'll
yeah,
feel so comfortable. You'll be like,
mm,
I mean, I hate the rose-colored glasses idea, but it's kind of like that in
yeah."
a degree, in my opinion,
And that's
and
why people make fun, but, like, I'm very cautious with who I get in a relationship with, and if or when I even introduce them to Tully, because honestly, at this point, I'm like, she's old enough, I can just wait till she's an adult, you know? I mean, before I
me
actually.
personally, I ain't dealing with it, but
Alright, so
no.
wait, before you
Okay,
go off the subject, though, I
yeah.
do wanna finish up with the whole court thing. So how did that
We're
so
about to
you
court. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, back to court. I
Oh,
need
this
yeah,
is a very important part of my story.
okay, okay.
I'm not gonna skirt this one because by golly, I feel empowered.
Uh-huh.
I was a wreck, but I was empowered. But anyways, we checked in and the lady was like, but she at some point, the lady at the front
Mhm.
said, "I know this is hard for you." I mean, I guess she can kind of see what the charges are, I mean, I'm keeping it together at this point.
Yeah.
I'm pissed is what I am. I'm mad, which
Mhm.
usually when I get mad, I cry. But at this point, I have not cried yet. And I'm just mad. I'm a little anxious, a little nervous, don't know what to expect. And she looks at me and she says, "This is going to be the hardest thing you ever do. I guarantee you're going to heal from this." She tells me this. And I don't really soak it in at that moment because I don't know. I mean, shoot, I've been dealing with this forever
Yeah.
since I was 12. And I'm gonna heal finally because
Mhm.
he wants to be pardoned. Like, it just kinda was like, "What?"
Yes. Alright, woman.
But, of course, I said, "Thank you." I don't know what to say,
Mm.
it sucks being here.
Yeah.
And so they put us separately from them until we get called, and he saw I was there, and he left. I mean, if he wanted the pardon, I mean, maybe he hoped I wouldn't come down there
Probably.
or didn't know that that was a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if he had showed up, we would have been in the same room together
Ooh.
talking about this in front of a board. And it was like a courtroom. And as soon as I got up there, I couldn't speak. And that's another thing about me. If I'm really upset, I cannot speak. It's like my vocal cords just freeze if I'm upset. I have a really hard time communicating what I want to say and
Mhm.
then the words don't come out. So it's like double whammy. So nothing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All I could do was cry. And I just said, "Thank you." And then I couldn't say anything else. And I'm literally trying, even so I was like, kind of got a little awkward there for a second because we could tell you're trying to say something, but you could not say anything. I could not say anything. It's like as soon as I walked in there, it's like maybe overwhelmed or,
Yeah.
just the
Oh, I've
whole
been there, yeah.
situation. It was like, oh my gosh. It was like a instant release to some degree. And they go, "Well, is what you wrote your words?" "Yes." And they go, "We don't need to know anything else."
Oh, wow.
So my statement, I was mad though. I'm like, how dared they think about pardoning him?
Yeah,
How dare they do this? And granted, it was at a different time where the people just were not aware of how dangerous sex offenders are
yeah.
and how long-term trauma and family cycles change because of because of them like victimizing people. And it's just I was mad. I thought they would potentially say, "I'm sorry, we're gonna have to pardon him.
Yeah.
He's been on the sex offender registry for 20 whatever years it's been." And I would have been probably livid at that moment if they had told me
Yeah!
that. But they just said, "No, we got your word. You're good.
Wow.
We understand. And no, we are not going to pardon him." And I was just relieved. And when I left there, she was right. I mean, there's still remnants,
Uh,
but the emotional toll it used to take on me when I'd run into him on accident or when he'd try and contact me or
mhm.
just the flashbacks I would occasionally have, like something would, for a while there, Mustangs would trigger me. It was weird. So I had to, Wyatt doesn't know this. Here you go, Wyatt. You're going to know now. But there was a Mustang that he had. It was a Mustang toy. It was a big one. And every time I saw it, I thought of my sperm donor. And so I talked to my counselor. I'm like, I just cannot stop. I have to get rid of this car. I feel crazy thinking that this car is what's doing it. I was just shocked. And she said, just throw it away. And I'm like, yeah, but it's my kid's car. She's like, get him a blue one.
Yeah.
So we went and got him another car. It was because it was red. And my mom was like trying to tell me, she's like, you realize the Mustang love came from me. He benefited from my love of Mustangs. She has a red Mustang now, which doesn't trigger me at all. It doesn't affect me whatsoever. In fact, I actually really like driving it.
Oh, you think it's because your mom owns it though?
I mean, maybe. And I also didn't realize that it was really her that loved the Mustangs because they had a green Mustang that my grandmother, in order to get him away from my mom and us, I think that kind of helped me kind of be at closure with it to realize, okay, he's just mooching off of her,
Yeah.
He's like, it's not like that. But as a kid, I saw him driving the green Mustang. But something about that part of me and me facing him and
Gave your
saying,
power back.
I always had the power. I
Yeah.
truly did. I
That's
just
true.
did not know. It's actually
Mhm.
standing up to him was what gave me that healing. I think it was a combination of just saying, hey, I'm not going to let you dictate this. You're not going to get off on this. I'm still suffering with your effects, and I can at least speak out against it. You are not going to get off. You're going to at least have one consequence for the rest of your
Yeah.
life, hopefully. I mean, I don't know if they ever come off with these laws. I don't know these days. But I mean, I have the laws right now. Anyways, it's just so prevalent.
So what advice would you give, two-part question, would you give to, I mean, I hate to say a child because this is an explicit podcast for the most part is how I will label it because of the stuff that we
Yeah.
talk about, but what advice would you give to a kid and the parent, on both sides of that if they
Okay.
felt like something like that was going on?
The parent. I'm gonna talk to the parent first.
Yeah.
I say this with love. If you have any sort of weirdness, I don't even know. There's not even. If your kid ever says that, let's just say somebody accidentally touched me in my private parts. Let's just say it's so minimal that we're all tempted to be like, that was just one time. No, it is a black and white. It is a very big red, 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 red flag. Run, get away. Maybe it's not criminal, or maybe it's not something they can do anything criminally. I get that. But it needs to be immediately separated and it needs to be done. You don't go back and forth and try and make things work, hope he changes. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. If it does happen, it's very, 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 very rare. They literally do tests over and studies over this stuff. It is very, very rare. You are justifying putting your kids in danger and you living in a state of, is that normal? Is that
Mhm.
okay? If you love your kids and they're your top priority, no matter what your financial issue is. And I'm so grateful I had grandparents and my mom that we could financially separate from him I mean, of course it hurt. She was a single mom and we didn't have any
Yeah.
money, but I feel for you. I totally understand. I mean, I'll be happy to help or we'll figure out solutions. I don't know. Get them away. The smallest, because there's a red flag. There's something that has triggered you to even think that something is going on. And it might not just be that thing. It might have been something else. Of course, if your kid ever says anything has happened, you believe them wholeheartedly and you support them because that's the only way they can move past this is that they have that protection. They know I could rely on my mom. And
Yeah.
he ended up giving up his parental rights because of child support.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know how long, but her goal was, what can I do to get him out of our lives? Because remember, he could have visitation rights to both
Yeah, that's
not Wyatt,
insane.
my sister and my brother,
Mm.
not to me. I was
That's
protected,
insane.
but he could still have rights to my siblings. There was something else I'm going to tell the parents. Sling. I don't care how much it costs you. what you got to do?
Mm-hmm.
Counseling. And it's not necessarily like a good counselor, in my opinion, says, "Hey, Jamie, you are thinking this. Is this healthy?" You think, like, I mean, it's like a way of guiding you without telling you you're veering off the path. You're
Yeah.
going the wrong direction. Like, I know Karen told me in ways that I don't know if that's healthy. How do you
Mm-hmm.
feel when you think this is going on? Like, I just think that's a good counselor. Someone that tells you what you're doing is not healthy, but maybe not being bossy about it. Also, too, if you do find yourself in this situation, your kids may not show the effects of the abuse or of the grooming, of the trauma that you're going through until years later, where they're on a destructive path. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to tell parents.
Yeah.
This
Go for it.
Assume if one child's been abused, they all have been abused. Assume it. Plan it. Incorporate it in any therapy and make sure they all get therapy
Mm.
consistently for whenever, as long as you make it a priority for many years. I don't remember exactly how long. And, a lot of people focus on it right away in the beginning.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, we'll get them," and they'll do it for a year. Let's say they do it for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like we fell into this little category too. It's not just in that year that they need the counseling. It's not, because they don't even remember. They're coping. They're like, when you've seen trauma, you kind of blank out that year.
Mm-hmm.
And I even saw this with Salas when he was hurt. Like, that year after he was hurt both times have been like this and this and this, up and
Yeah.
down, up and down. And I don't remember a lot after that year at all. And I think that's how it is with trauma that I saw with my childhood. Like, I didn't know that until after I've been through other things. But the trauma of that first year is like you're surviving. You're just surviving is it. You are coping. You're doing what you can to just somewhat process, somewhat. And it's not until later that things happen. For me, there was, getting married, there were certain triggers that were normal in normal marriage. But for me, it was like, whoa, 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 whoa. This
Yeah.
doesn't, and it was normal. But for me, it was like, oh crap, I don't know what to do about this. So, and that's just using an example. But even in my high school, my teenage years, my
Mm.
body would change or things would happen. And my reaction was not typical. My reaction was reliving it, traumatic. It was, and it might not always be that way. I do think some triggering desensitizes you. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason I say that, well, one, I truly believe that pardoning hearing was like a pivotal thing where I could think rationally
Yeah.
during a interaction. Like, he's like 100 feet, not even 100 feet. He's like 25 feet from my window.
Mm.
Thankfully, he turns the other way and
Yeah.
walks he's watching me, but he walked. But what I'm saying is, like, all those times, I would have to say the triggers were hard, but they got better as each time I was triggered. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They were still
Listen.
exhausting. They still had some emotional reaction that physically I still was exhausted afterwards. Usually, like, the next day I was exhausted. I could take a nap all day. And I think that's just a little bit of depression, a little bit of just like emotional, like,
Mm.
but they weren't as impactful as each time went on. They're not easy. I don't think anybody should go through them. But know that that could be a healing part of it in a way.
So then what would you tell, I wouldn't guess there'd be any kids listen to this, but there might be some, preteens or whatnot. I hope that if anybody is in that situation, that this kind of helps them.
Yeah.
Or maybe if they've had it in their past and they're now adults and stuff like that. I'll say my mom, what she used to tell us was that we were like, "Hey, okay, well," she's like, "Well, I'm not calling 911. You just tell me who they are and I'm going to cut their balls off."
Oh, yes.
And I was like, okay.
You're like,
That is the reaction that I've given to Tully, to my kid. But yeah, I've been to a lot of those calls and stuff, and that's not something I'd wish upon anybody.
and sometimes it's so black and white, and sometimes it's not so black and white. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. If you're violated or you're uncomfortable around somebody, Uncle John or whatever it is, it's you
Something's there.
speak up, and you don't get the right response from somebody, go to another one.
I'll say on here then. So if with your with your agreement, rather. You're good if somebody messages me or contacts me on this platform and they've gone through something and they want to connect and get advice and stuff. Are you good if I connect them with you?
Absolutely. I've done the best I can, but you love your kids so fiercely,
Yeah.
just so fiercely, and for your trust to be broken with somebody you trusted and
Yeah,
loved.
I can't.